going to do is just do the mobilizations into flexion and extension, side bending and rotation. We're going to use the neutral setup. So what that means is that for the bottom, I'm going to set him up into neutral extension just because it's easier. So with that mobilization, I'm just going to bring him into, if I'm doing L3, L4, I'm going to bring him into where I feel L3, L4 is in a neutral position. And I'm just going to extend the bottom leg just to get him there. In the top, I'm going to put him in neutral. And I'm going to bring him into a little bit of that flexion from below. Then what I can do is bring this forward, roll him towards me. I can fix the top segment and then mobilize him into flexion. So you can do that as neutral flexion. If you felt you weren't getting the opening because we did the side bending lock, even though we were keeping it in neutral, we were pulling the bottom leg, which tends to bring him into this kind of side bending. We could do the neutral flexion with introducing flexion from below as well, so I'll have him unwind. And in this case, I will flex him up to but not into the level. So if I'm doing L3, L4, L5 goes into flexion. I straighten the bottom, the top leg, and then I'll have him, and this is something that I always forget to show in the first day. Go ahead and straighten your bottom leg for me. Good. So that way I'm holding him in that side bending, and then I can get him in this position without fiddling with that bottom leg. It's a much more efficient way to do it. For flexion here, again, I'm going to have his arm here. This one is parallel to the table. He's going to grab under my shoulder blade, and I'm going to bring him into flexion. As I release the leg here, I'm going to roll him towards me. I'm going to get him down to the segments. So if we're doing L3, L4, L5, L4, L3, I'll get him to that segment here. You can fixate the top. It's hard. You don't want to like work on pinching the spinous process. That's uncomfortable for the patient. If your sternum is over that level and you have the patient rotated enough, just your hands there and then your hands here should be able to create that flexion moment. If you were doing a constant stretch for your mobilization, you would do it this way, down the line of the femur. And again, if you were grading your mobilizations, it's a lot easier to grade them using your body coming through here, so then you can do an oscillated mobilization into flexion. Eventually, you could have them wound up where you get a good end feel and you would do a manipulation. But we'll cover manipulation after we get good at graded mobilizations. So that's the mobilization into flexion.